stoking the fire. Adrenaline is overloading, hit the mat like a fighter. They never let up, never throwing, giving to their desires. No, they keep working on their focus.
And good evening, everyone. June 12th, 2024. And this Thursday night edition of Keep It in the Ring with Rich Mancuso. Welcome you back to my YouTube channel live and now at Jabronis United. Log on, and I would like you to comment, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, and Jabronis United, and so forth. We're also seen on Facebook Live and Keep It in the Ring. And also, of course, my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. And as always, you're going to keep it in the ring with me this week. An hour, a little more. Combat Sports. This is your home every week. Keep it in the ring. Back with you after a 2-week hiatus. We had to regroup, but we're here. And a lot to recap, a lot to analyze. Of course, we're going to have the boxing. We're going to have the UFC, a little bit of that, and the pro wrestling. Bringing a new character of the wrestling world on the program who knows his stuff later on in the hour. And we're going to talk to a good colleague and friend of mine who knows boxing well. And we're going to analyze some of the developments. And there he is, TD. And he's already making his appearance in the comment section, which we want you to do. Fans, comment during the program, and we'll get to your comments and try and give you the answer the best I can. And, of course, you're waiting for the fact of the week. We'll have that for you as well. So let's get this started. Keep it in the ring, this Thursday night edition live. Jabronis United, YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. It's Keep It in the Ring. All right, let's get to it. And Scott Churston is handling the controls right now behind the scenes. Thank you, Scott, for being with me once again. Really appreciate it. And let's take a look at the heavyweight division. I want to start off with the heavyweight division because, as I always say, folks, as you know, that is the face of boxing. To me, it is, not Canelo Alvarez, who reportedly has a fight coming up again in September. We'll talk about that later. But, you know, the heavyweight division next to Canelo Alvarez is the place to be. It has always been the face of boxing. A couple of weeks ago, Saudi Arabia, 5-5-5, Eddie Hearn and Queensberry. And this happened. Deontay Wilder probably out of the mix now after losing to Zhang. And, you know, Deontay Wilder's career looks to be over. Zhang has rebounded himself. He had a 68-pound weight advantage, as you know. Wilder, 38 years old, the right hand just not like it was. The right hand of Zhang, where it wanted to be. So back in the mix is Zhang, and out of the mix is Deontay Wilder, who will be well off, did very well. Noted more for his right and also his power and his ability and what he did in 3 great fights with Tyson Fury. So we wish him the best of luck. But Wilder only threw 3 punches per round, as you know. Zhang, of course, more punches thrown. That's why he got the win. That's why Deontay Wilder is no longer a part, as we look at it, of the heavyweight title mix. This guy, though, 21-2, 20 knockouts now, Daniel Dubois. Over Philip Harburg just a few weeks ago, IDF interim heavyweight title, leading to possibly bigger fights for him. The British matchup probably going to be in London, September 21st at Wembley. He could fight Anthony Joshua. That's what they might be looking at. Could he fight Usyk and Fury, who are definitely back in the rematch mode? That's official, Saturday, December 21st. So you see, Dubois landed 28 more jabs. The first 3 rounds, Harburg had cuts in both of his eyes. You remember this fight 2 weeks ago. The reason I do it, we want to analyze the heavyweight division, where it stands. I want to know what you think. I want to know who do you think are your top 5 heavyweights right now. When you don't look at Deontay, you look at Deontay Wilder out of the mix. Is it Zhang? Is it Daniel Dubois? Is it Joseph Parker? Is it, of course, the heavyweight champion unified right now, Xander Usyk, set to rematch with Tyson Fury again in Saudi Arabia, December 21st. They might do that fight 3 times. Also, does Tyson Fury decide, yeah, I want another crack at it, even though the contracts have been signed for December 21st? Whether way you look at it, folks, the heavyweight division is heavy right now. The heavyweight division is back in the talk of boxing. The heavyweight division is in the mix once again. The question is it Usyk, Fury? Is it Anthony Joshua? Is it Joseph Parker? Is it Daniel Dwyer? Or is it Zhang? Who do you think deserves a shot at becoming the next face of the heavyweight division? Alexander Usyk right now, again, the unified champ. Is he the face of boxing? Probably not. Canelo Alvarez still has it in my book. Though, right now, he is the face of the heavyweight division, which always in the proud history of this sport has always been the cream of the crop, the heavyweight champion, which has finally been unified, sort of, because the IBF is looking to do other things, alphabet soup organizations. But I want to know your take on this. Who do you think is the face of heavyweight division in boxing? You have a choice. Let me know. All right, in between that 5x5, I want to get to this because the most talented fighter on the planet to me is the Russian Dmitry Bivol. And again, remained undefeated. Competition was mediocre to him, but he's 23-0, 12 knockouts. Great light heavyweight champion. He is a technician in the ring. He did that again, TKO round 6. He's jabbing is effective. He out-jabbed his opponent. 54-26 in punches. And now the unification title fight to unify that light heavyweight division, which was postponed because Arturo Beterbiev sustained an injury, has now been rescheduled. October 12th. That's going to be a heavy night for boxing, by the way. A lot of big shows on that night. Saudi Arabia, finally, unless someone gets hurt, we'll get Bivol and Arturo Beterbiev. Once again, it's rescheduled. And Raymond Ford, dethroned. You saw that in Saudi Arabia 2 weeks ago. He'll be back. Raymond Ford was the featherweight champion, undefeated, 12-round split decision loss to Bell. The action in the first half. Ford broke Bell's nose. That was the story of this this fight in round 7. Ford says he's now moving to 130 pounds, does not want a rematch. He's a former champion. He's going to be, I believe, a 2-time champion, possibly in a competitive division of boxing also at 130. Moving on. How about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul? We know that that's been scrapped. We know it's been moved up again. Extravaganza, you hear me talk about it all the time. Now scheduled for November 15th on Netflix, if indeed it goes through. Others are willing to step in and take the place for Mike Tyson, who suffered some type of medical episode with an ulcer condition. Well, to be announced who the opponent would be if Tyson can't make it. My friends, the loser here right now was getting to see that female rematch, featherweight, with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. I was looking forward to that rematch. Of course, Taylor dethroned Serrano in Madison Square Garden a few years ago on a matchroom packed card at Madison Square Garden that sold to capacity to the first main event in female history at Madison Square Garden. However, we'll have to wait. They'll be back November 15th. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, who cares, really? And I hope Mike Tyson comes to his senses. He's already suffered some type of medical condition preparing towards this fight that many anticipated except me. And yet they're going to do it. They say November 15th, and I'll say it again. If Jake Paul wants to be recognized as he claims to be the best in the sport, he has to fight quality opponents. Do you think fighting Mike Tyson's going to make Jake Paul go up the totem pole in this sport? Absolutely not. This is strictly an exhibition extravaganza on Netflix. Will make a lot of money to the boxing fan or the non-boxing fan. And we'll see as the comments come in, including from Shelton, LDBC, or nothing. Thank you for commenting, my friend. All right. To the note that I always bring up every week on Keep It in the Ring, and that's our friend Ryan Garcia. What's going on? Well, here is a photo that was released a week or so ago, very despondent, and a tweet on X, now known as X, very despondent. His mother reportedly has breast cancer and apparently is very ill, according to Ryan Garcia. And you never know when Ryan Garcia sends out his social media tweets and on Instagram how true or valid they are. However, I've been able to confirm that Ryan Garcia's mom is ill, not gravely ill, but has to be watched. And that has apparently affected Ryan Garcia to the point that he continues to send out very disturbing tweets on X, on his social media platform every day, couple of hours in between, says sometimes he wants to give up on life, sometimes he wants to continue, sometimes he doesn't know what to do, he wants to save the children, save the world, continues with his conspiracy theories, yet Ryan Garcia continues to not look at his future as possibly being one of the top superstars in this sport. He's disturbed. He continues to be. He needs attention. He looks for attention. He needs help. As Shelton says, I don't believe anything he says. And Shelton, I'm all with you on that, my friend. Because every time Ryan Garcia tweets or opens up his mouth, and by the way, if you look at his social media as of last night and this morning, he's doing a little dance. He's got his shirt off, shorts on, barefooted, and he looks like a 175-pounder. Put on a lot of weight. Well, he's inactive right now. He says he wants to get a fight, and he wants to be back in the ring, and Devin Haney's still one of his targets again, though Devin Haney doesn't want no part of him. Who wants a part of Ryan Garcia? Who could be, as I keep telling you, one of the most electrifying young superstars in the sport. Yet his ridiculous, disturbing social media messages make us all get turned off. And until Ryan Garcia comes to realize he has a battle psychologically, until he can straighten out these demons in his life that he has in front of him, we will never take him seriously. And being in around boxing myself for over 42 years, I have seen some of the worst. I have seen guys crumble in the ring. I have seen fighters crumble outside of the ring and destroy their lives and careers. And I think right now, Ryan Garcia is on that path. I have nothing against him. I love his skills. When he's in the ring, he knows what to do. Many say he still could be very overrated. He really handled Devin Haney, and he handled him well, despite this other problem. The allegations that still await a determination. Did he illegally use steroids before the Devin Haney fight and the win? As we speak, and as I spoke to some people at the New York State Athletic Commission this past weekend in New York at Madison Square Garden, that investigation is still ongoing. Ryan Garcia really doesn't know where he stands right now. And if the Athletic Commission so determines, Garcia and some of the sanctioning organizations could say he's suspended indefinitely, fined, and most of all, his win over Devin Haney goes off the books, and Haney will stay undefeated. So Ryan Garcia has these demons that continue to haunt him. We don't know when his next fight is. The advice, though, from me and many others, do get psychological help, which he's not doing. And he needs to do that because he's on a bad path to destruction, as we know. All right. This weekend, though, we could focus on boxing and just what it is, because this Saturday, two major shows, one on the Zone and one on Amazon PBC Prime. We're going to see some of the top superstars in the sport this weekend, including Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. WBA lightweight title up for grabs of Gervonta Davis, and a win will get him even more. We know how talented Gervonta Davis is, and we know what Gervonta can do. He's made an awful lot of money already in his young life, and he is a top drawer on pay-per-view. Now PBC Amazon Prime taking that over, as you know. So Deontay does have a tough battler in Frank Martin, and Deontay, they've gone at it already at the final press conference yesterday. War of words, almost a little pushing and shoving. We'll see more what happens at the weigh-in tomorrow. Going to be a good fight for Davis's WBA version of the lightweight title. Maybe after that, Shakur Stevenson like a crack at him. Okay? There are so many in that division that are worthy of big mega fights for you, the boxing fan, and for the sport overall. But Gervonta Davis is one to look at back in the ring Saturday night on Amazon Prime, along with one that I love and respect so much, one fighter that Canelo Alvarez continually avoids. David Benavidez has gone past that. He doesn't want Canelo no more. He's now debuting at 175 on Saturday. That is going to be on the zone. And we wish Benavidez much of luck, though he does say if the offer is right and Canelo comes to his senses, he can easily go back to 168. But I don't think Canelo Alvarez wants any part of David Benavidez, as I tell you each and every week here on the program here at Keep It in the Ring. But Benavidez back in the ring again and looking for a win. And he's going to have a tough one against Xander Govovec. And that will be a tough fight with Benavidez, who I still believe at 168 has the dominant power. Will he have that dominant power and great punch at 175? Yes. I believe David Benavidez wins this fight and now might have his sights set on Dimitri Bivol and try and get a part at the 175-pound title that Canelo Alvarez can never get. As you know, Bivol dominated and devastated Canelo Alvarez a few weeks ago when he went to 175 to try and get those titles that he never did. And doesn't want to rematch with him either. Canelo's got other ideas. To move on now, let's take a look at Errol Spence Jr. He is making himself known here during the Gervonta Davis and Benavidez promotion. You know, now at 154, Errol Spence moves up. Haven't seen him since his loss to Terrence Crawford that unified those titles at 147. Really haven't seen him at all. Sebastian Fundora is next, supposedly in October after the layoff. Where does Errol Spence go? That guy, the Towering Inferno, the title holder at 154? Well, that'll be a tough one for Errol Spence Jr. if indeed they do this in October. Regardless, the division at 154, as we're going to talk about more in a moment, is very, very competitive. One of those top divisions in the sport. Who do you like, Fundora or Spence, if they indeed meet up in October? Like, comment, and subscribe. And by the way, the boxing calendar is being scrolled at the bottom of your screen. We are in the height of the boxing season, as I say. You know, all sports have seasons. Boxing has a season every day. The big fights are coming. More of the Greek superstars are coming in the weeks and months ahead as we hit the summer. And then we get to the fall, and that's going to be hot and heavy. Canelo Alvarez will be back in action in September. Who he fights yet to be determined. But, you know, Sebastian Fundora is amazing. And if indeed he does fight Errol Spence Jr., remember how he dethroned Tesu for the WBA interim super welterweight title, and Tesu got all bloodied up. And, of course, we saw what a great fight that was, and a war and a bloodbath reminiscent of Gotti Ward and their trilogy fights of the 80s. Sebastian Fundora brings that reach, that height, and does have some power despite his lanky build. But then you look at Errol Spence Jr. with all his success and all the tragedies that he's been through, does he still have it? Well, Sebastian Fundora is going to be the guy he's going to have to be looking at if he wants to get another title. And I don't think Errol Spence Jr. is going to be able to handle Sebastian Fundora. Of course, Fundora, what he did to Tesu, sent a message to the boxing world and all the other contenders in that division at 154. Look forward to it. Terrence Crawford, by the way, is going to debut soon at 154. And does Errol Spence want him again at 154? I don't think Terrence Crawford wants any part of that. Look forward, August 3rd, Saudi Arabia. Terrence Crawford back in the ring. All right, this Saturday again, super big night for boxing. We're talking about Gervonta Davis. We're talking about David Benavidez, but we're going to talk about this fight. I was supposed to be there in Puerto Rico, but they had a very bad rainstorm in the last 24 hours, and the power and most of the island, the electricity off Puerto Rico, so I never made it. And I wanted to see this young man, Sudru Mateus, and he's fighting Liam Perro, who has a chance because he's a good puncher. And we're going to have that fight Saturday night that's going to be on the zone. IBF junior welterweight title of Mateus up for grabs. And a young Puerto Rican champion like this guy I saw Saturday at Madison Square Garden. Let's talk about, before we get to that, one other note. I'm going to talk about Xander Zayas, who you see in my background picture every week as well. Cody Crawley withdrawing his, IBF welterweight title fight homecoming for Jared Boots Ennis in Philadelphia, July 13th. Got a new opponent. David Abasinian, 34-1, 18 KOs out of Russia, 35-year-old. He's now the number one contender for Boots' title. That's coming up. That's a fight on the calendar, July 13th. Boots is still fighting and his homecoming in Philadelphia. All right, and that's going to be on, I believe that's on the Zone as well, pay-per-view. This guy, I want to talk about him. Xander Zayas, 154, making his move. Saturday at Madison Square Garden, at ringside, saw the power of this young Puerto Rican superstar who is only 21 years of age, continues to win, and on his way, as top rank, as I wrote on my column in NewYorkSportsDay.com, read it if you can. They're milking him the right way. Bob Ratmer and Top Rank, his promoter, they milk young fighters, meaning they take their time. He's only 21 years of age, and he's making a mark in the division of 154. And Xander Zayas feels that he could be ready for a title fight, as well as officials at Top Rank telling me possibly early next year. He might get another fight this year somewhere. If not, next year, maybe a tune-up, and then he fights one of the titles of 154 among the many alphabet soup sanctioning organizations in the sport. But that young man has power. He handled Patrick Pereira well. He handled him like he was the champion against the former champion. Xander Zayas is electrifying. He's got power. His footwork is unbelievable. He's a technician. When you talk about it in boxing, he is one of them. He's on the way to bigger and better things, and he did that at the Garden on Saturday night on the eve of the National Puerto Rican Day Parade, which has become a tradition for Top Rank at Madison Square Garden. Now, he was in a media scrum after the fight. I briefly snuck in the question everyone wanted to know. Is Xander Zayas the future of boxing as far as being a top face among Puerto Rican fighters right now? And this is what he said.
It's an honor for me. It's something that I never try to put out there. I let the fans do that. If they want to call me the face of Puerto Rican boxing, they'll do that. I just got to keep fighting, stay focused. And for me, it's always important to bring glory to Puerto Rico.
There you have it. How mellow and how true is this young man? He doesn't bullshit. He tells it like it is. He's polite. All right. Shelton says he's ready for a title fight. I think one more or two yet, Shelton. And he's a good ambassador for the sport. And he's bringing that great tradition of following Puerto Rican champions who have been so instrumental and icons in this sport. You go down the line of great champions that have represented this sport from Puerto Rico. Felix Trinidad, of course, Wilfredo Benitez, Hector Macho Camacho, and everybody likes to look at Miguel Cotto, as I do, as a first four-time champion coming out of Puerto Rico, first four-division champion coming out of Puerto Rico. Yeah, we had someone that was headed there, but he got into too many problems and is now facing murder. He's doing time. And that, of course, was Felix Verdeo. Everyone had their hopes up for him. And at one point he was getting there until whatever happened to him. But now you got Xander Zayas, who hopes to headline in the main arena at the Garden next June for Top Rank, ESPN again, on the eve of the National Puerto Rican Day Parade. My friends, he's on his way. And I think he'll get that main event next June. He deserves it. He's got quite a following in New York and, of course, in Puerto Rico. He is a hero in Puerto Rico right now. That's what all my friends tell me out there and what I see when I read and I see videos. Xander Zayas was also one of the highlights of the Puerto Rican Day Parade in New York on Sunday along the parade route on Fifth Avenue. And he was signing autographs and having a ball of a time. He deserved it. Most of all, he represents the sport well. not only because of what he does in the ring, but how he handles himself outside the ring. You never hear a bad word coming out of his mouth. You never hear him degrading anyone. You never hear him saying, I'm the best. He reminds me of many of those great old school fighters of the past that represented the sport to its best. And he's doing it now as the newest boxing superstar from Puerto Rico. At 21 years of age, this young man has a lot of talent. And at his age, he's got a long way to go. And he's going to achieve a lot because he's only 21 years of age. Unless he sustains an injury, which I don't think he will, he's always in great shape. God, I wish I kid him and say, how do you get in shape like that? He's under the tutelage of Top Rank. They love him. This is the type of fighter they love to milk. This is the type of fighter Bob, the Hall of Fame promoter of Top Rank, loves to put in the spotlight because Xander Zayas has no ego. No ego to him at all. He loves everyone, and I'll never see him getting an ego like so many other fighters do. Need I mention names? And I'm not going to. All right? He does have a long career ahead of him, Shelton. Thank you for contributing that. So congratulations to Xander Zayas. Once again victorious and on his way to stardom some more. Possibly headline the main event at Madison Square Garden next June and a title fight at some point next year. It is going to come. All right, move on and keep it in the ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. Like, comment, and subscribe. Jabronis United. Also, my channel on YouTube where we're live, and my Facebook. Also, keep it in the ring. Like it to comment, and most of all, hit that like button and subscribe. My social media handles, Ring786X. Formerly Twitter, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, and other social media outlets. Read me on Keep It in the Ring and also on NewYorkSports.com and LatinoSports.com, among the outlets I write boxing for and other sports as well. Move to the UFC briefly. UFC 302. I want to talk about Islam Makhachev. There I go with my pronunciation. He submitted this guy, Dustin Poirier. 5th round defending, as you know, last week in Newark, New Jersey. Exciting crowd there at the Prudential Center. The 150-pound title. Now the question is Poirier retired? He has said he is. He said, though, he's looking at something else. I don't know. But for the moment, Poirier is still around, even though he lost in a marvelous fight. Question is where he is headed. What's going on with Conor McGregor? 33-year-old Conor McGregor, all of a sudden, the press conference with Michael Chandler was canceled abruptly this last couple of days. UFC 303 is supposed to main event with Michael Chandler fight. These two have been looking forward to go at each other to go at it in the octagon. Well, supposedly Conor McGregor is partying too much, wasn't ready to answer the questions. He's amidst controversy once again, and we don't know when McGregor and Michael Chandler will meet in the octagon or when they're rescheduling the press conference to announce it officially. I reached out this week to UFC officials. No comment. They don't know, to be determined. All I could say is, like Ryan Garcia, Conor McGregor has issues. He's had them, and they continue, and hope he doesn't just go nuts in the octagon one day or out of the octagon. Conor McGregor continues to be bothered by demons. Will he fight Michael Chandler in the octagon? Remains to be seen. Also, I wanted to mention at the Garden the other night, it was a great undercard of fights, and my guest coming on after the break, and we'll talk more about the undercard. But the middleweight female, Nisa Rodriguez, a featherweight, and Bruce Carrington. We'll talk more about their fights after the break. We're going to take a brief time out. First one of the night. It's Keep It in the Ring. I'm Rich Mancuso here at Jabronis United and my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. Do like, comment as you're doing now. Continue to do that. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. That would be appreciated. So for now, we'll take this brief time out. First one of the night, real quick, back. More boxing. And I'll tell you who I'm going to have on after the break. This is Keep It in the Ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. Thanks for being with
And
us.
always stoking the fire. Adrenaline is overloading. Hit the mat like a fighter. They never let up, never throwing, giving to their desires. No, they keep working on their focus. Always stoking the fire. Adrenaline is overloading. Hit the mat like a fighter. They never let up, never throwing, giving to their desires. No, they keep working on their focus.
Back with more Keep It in the Ring, bottom of the hour. I'm Rich Mancuso. Thanks for being with me. Like, comment, and subscribe. Social media at the bottom of the screen being scrolled where you could reach me. I want to hear from you. And when I do, I get back to you. And, of course, the all-important fight calendar with fights coming up in the next week, month ahead, and a lot of that. And we'll continue the boxing talk now. Let me bring on a colleague, relatively new colleague in Rich Mancuso's world, a young and very talented colleague. And I know him. I'm calling him Tommy D because I can't pronounce his last name. I've been on his YouTube program as well. And let me bring in Tommy D because you think I eat, drink, and sleep this sport of boxing? This guy does it more than me. Tommy D. Known
Tommy
as
D, yeah.
Tommy, pronounce your last name.
Well, I try to make it simple as my wife is laughing in the background. So it's Thomas Dillamuth.
Well, that's not hard for me to pronounce.
Dillamuth, yeah. So it's from my
but I'm still calling you Tommy D.
Tommy D is the easiest thing to do,
Yeah.
even though I know my wife doesn't like that because that's what we call my son Tommy. But or
And
Thomas.
congratulations, you had quite a week with your was it your daughter and your son graduating this week?
Yeah, my daughter graduated yesterday from high school. A couple weeks ago, she graduated college. She did college and high school at the same time. So we're really proud. She made us very proud here. She had, the Honor Society, an associate's degree, high school diploma. She finished second in her class. So she's the salutatorian. I can't pronounce it. She'll do better than me. But she went up there, gave a speech. We're just
you have every right to brag, my friend.
Yeah.
You have every right to do that. Congratulations and best to them. Best to them because they got quite a dad who knows his boxing. We're going to get to that right now. Tommy, also, before we continue, we'll mention it more than once before you leave us later. You are also a host of a great program that you have on YouTube and Facebook. Go ahead, plug it.
Well, I have the YouTube. I do this. I've been doing it for about a year and some change. With my good friend Socrates Palmer Jr., which you do know here in the Bronx. He's a very good friend of mine. He's been around for a long time. He works with fighters, strength and conditioning. He's been writing for websites as Boxing Talk, and I have a couple other YouTubers that I kind of collab with as well. One in particular, I'll plug him in. My man D Free. He's from Baltimore, Maryland, or DC, Maryland. I apologize. Real good guy, knows a lot of boxing. And then, of course, I have I'm on Sundays with Pedro Fernandez of Ring Talk Worldwide.
Wow,
Fernandez has been around about 40 years as well.
Yeah, so you're hogging it. Yeah, you're hogging the airwaves here on social media on YouTube, but it's worth it because you're very informative and you do great shows. I've been on the show a few times. I hope to be on again with you. You're going to collaborate more with us here at Keep It in the Ring in the weeks and months to come. We'll have you on the program more often, contribute, even become a backup producer as well, because you know how to work those switches better than me.
I'm still learning, but yeah, it takes a little time to get used to it.
But you're one of those young guys, young and new breeds, new school in the sport, covering the sport. I know I've been giving some facts and tips here and there. This old timer like me is on the way out the door soon. You're the future. You know the sport. Quickly, before we move on to Xander Zayas, what are your thoughts on the Saudi Arabians taking over the sport? Because now they're talking about taking over and the promoter and getting all the promoters to be all under one banner. What do you think of that? That's a strong rumor, and they're really talking about it. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's good. I think it's good if it can happen. I don't see it happening consistently. I mean, all these promoters, they have their egos, and it's hard to get all these egos to agree with each other and get them under one. It's kind of like they want to be sort of like the commissioner of boxing, right? Like you have the NFL commissioner, you have the baseball commissioner. It's almost like the Saudis want to be kind of like, be the commissioner and kind of get all these guys to kind of agree. And, I'm all for it if it can happen. They're going to give us the fights that the fans want.
Well, I'm all for it if they could unify the sport, something the promoters and everyone can't do here in the States. Well, we need a national boxing commission, which will never happen. I've been a big advocate of that. So I'm all for that. But let's face it, Tom, the Saudis are running the sport right now. All the big fights are taking place in Saudi Arabia. They have the venues. They're building more. And most of all, these kings and princes, as I call them, have the money. Yeah, and they're going to go there. So like the WWE, they're going to go there.
Yeah. And I agree. I think it's good. And listen, in August, I believe in August, you're going to have Crawford is going to fight, and that's going to be here in the States. I believe this is one of the first one in the States.
Right, they're coming to the right. They're coming to the States for the first time, and I think this was their whole intention. Get a taste of it here. August 3rd.
I would want more of that to come more in the States. It's always good to have fights during the day.
Shelton's saying he doesn't care if they fight on the moon because he's a boxing buff like all the. Yeah, but I like it. But I don't want to keep the major fights out of the United States. Because Las Vegas, New York. I want to keep them here.
Yes.
I mean, because otherwise, if you want to go to one of these fights.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
You want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to see the superstars.
Yeah.
So, but I think, Tom, that's going to happen. I don't know to what magnitude, but I think it will. And the only reason why, again, is because of that almighty dollar. They have the money. They can do it. And let's face it, if the fight's going to happen, the fans want, then who's going to complain, right?
Absolutely. That's the thing. That's what I agree with. But yeah, I do agree with you to the sense I would like to see more fights in the States, because to take away, you got places like the Mecca of boxing, which is Madison Square Garden, Las Vegas. I still would like to see the fights here at night, Saturday night, rather than during the day on Saturday all the time. So, I mean, UK still produces great fights, and we're kind of used to seeing them during the day.
Yeah, well, we got to watch them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, New York time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or just like we'll have to do in Scotland with WWE on Saturday, Clash of the Castle. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, let's move on, and let's talk about what we saw at the Garden Saturday night. You heard me rant about Xander Zayas. Do you agree with me?
I agree with you. I think this guy is going to be a star. He didn't do what I think everybody wanted him to do, which is, get the stoppage. But that's credit to his opponent. When I was at the weigh-in, Patrick looked, I don't know, he looked like he was there and he knew his job. And I felt like he was going to get stopped within 2 or 3 rounds. But credit to him, he came in, he was awkward. He took a lot of good punches. I mean, if you was there and if you watched, there was some punches that a lot of men would have dropped,
Oh, yeah. In fact, you bring up a point because I was sitting near the former world champion, Jorge Linares, who told me that, he'll drop anyone. And Zayas will be a champion at this point next year. That's his belief. He firmly believed that.
I believe it too. I think, I want to see him, go more to the body like he did in the fight. I think that's his go-to, break him down. I think he's got good skills. I still think he keeps his head in a straight line a little too much for my liking, but he's 21 years old. I think maybe he'll get out of that bad habit. Eventually he's going to have to do it when he starts facing these tough guys in that division. And let's face it, the 154 is probably, or maybe the toughest division in all of boxing.
Oh, you got Lubin in there, and you've got Virgil Ortiz Jr. in there, and among others, there's so many.
Crawford and Spencer now in there.
I know. So he's got time. Yeah. See, that's what I like. That's what I like what Top Rank's doing with him. They're not rushing him into it. They're milking him, as I say. As Bob Arum always said, we're milking him. That's why I use that term. So his time will come. As much as he wants that now, look, he realizes it's not going to happen tomorrow.
No.
He's 21 years of age, and he's still learning. Yet I think he'll have a title fight at some point next year. He's got 2 titles now. I don't mention them because I call them alphabet soup. That's what they are.
I tell you what I would like to see. I don't know if they do it next year, but it's a big money fight. Maybe not a championship fight, but here in New York, it'd be huge. They could get upstairs, not the theater, the main place. They put Xander against Caleb Walsh. Huge. You have the Irish crowd backing it, and that's another young guy, 154, against Xander.
Right.
And then you got the Puerto Rican crowd. I think that's a mega fight, even though it might not be a big title. You know,
the Garden, Tom Lawful will do that. He's involved in the Garden now with 360 promotions, and then that would be awesome if they do a fight like that at 154. Smith just won a fight last week, by the way, remained undefeated. I think he's 12-0 now.
Yeah,
so they're milking him. They're milking him. They're kind of milking him a little too fast. But Xander Zayas again, impressive. I've seen him fight all of his fights in the Garden. I've been to every one of them. This one, to me, I was up close more than I ever was with him. I saw the power. I heard the power, Tom.
Yeah. If you was there, you heard the power. This, I believe, is his 5th fight in the Garden. Now, mind you, out of all 5 fights, only the first one he got the stoppage in the first round. His last 4, including this past Saturday, all went decision. But this was his first fight. He went 10 rounds. So, and he did say that in the post-fight press conference. He said it was good. He graduated from a 10-round fight.
Yeah, he even rated himself. He rated himself. He didn't say I was an A. He said I was a B plus.
He said B minus, I believe. I think he said B minus.
So you know, like he's critical of himself.
Yes,
which is another thing I feel to mention. So he moves on, but also top rank ESPN. They put on a great card every eve at the National Puerto Rican Day Parade at the Garden. They're in the theater. For years, it was Miguel Cotto and Trinidad in the main arena. Zayas will get there eventually. But you saw a good undercard as well. And I know you're very high on some of the fighters on that card. You saw Bruce Carrington continue his rise as well.
Yeah, Bruce Carrington looked phenomenal. And, he looked good. He fought a game guy from Panama, Brian De Gracia. He's like 20. He was like 29-3 or 29-2 and like a draw before that. Real tough guy. He came in there, did not come there to lay down. He landed some good shots on Bruce.
You guys guys are hearing me, but you don't see me right now. I don't know what happened.
No, you're good. I see you. You're good.
You can see me, and I can't see nobody. I don't know what happened on my end.
You're good.
But yeah, continue.
Yeah. So Brian, I thought Brian was very game, and Bruce showed out for his crowd. Let me tell you, there were a lot of Puerto Ricans there that night for Xander, but there were a lot of people from Brownsville, Brooklyn to show support for Shushu. Shushu is going to be a good top seller there in New York City. He continues to produce in the ring, and he continues to produce fans in the crowd. So, very impressed with Shushu. I'm high on him. He's a future champion at featherweight. It was very cool to see Inoue there as well. After the fight, he gave a little bow to Inoue. Inoue gave a nice little wave. I thought that was pretty cool. Good respect.
What do you like about Shushu Carrington, and what about milking him to a title? He's not ready for a title shot yet?
I think he is. I think he's ready for a title shot.
Really?
I think he is, and that division is pretty solid as well. I think right now, Espinoza and Robisi are going to have a rematch right now for there. Espinoza came out of nowhere. Remember, Espinoza wasn't supposed to win against Robisi. Robisi went in there. He hurt Espinoza early, I believe, in the 5th, 6th round. Couldn't get him out of there. Got gassed out, and Espinoza kind of took over and won a decision over him. So
Carrington in the 56 of round 8 with the TKO. And to me, he was commanding the fight from the first bell.
Yes.
I like him. I disagree with you, though. I don't think he's ready for a title shot yet that soon. I think he still needs 2 or 3 more fights to get in there and be with the best.
I don't know. He's 26, going on 27. He lost a couple years because I believe he wanted to fight in the Olympics, and COVID kind of took that away from him. So, he had to skip, and then he had to turn pro. So he lost some time there. I think he's ready now.
I really do.
You also like the junior welterweight Tiger Johnson.
Yes.
You saw him. I know that you know him well and you know his camp well. And he won a unanimous decision and increased his undefeated streak. He's 13-0, and he's with 6 knockouts. He has tremendous punching power. I love his ability to go with the jab.
Yes.
Saw that. Very good jabber.
Very beautiful. Yes.
How soon and does the rise continue for this young man, Tiger Johnson?
That I don't know. I know he represented the U.S. in the Olympics in Tokyo, if I'm not mistaken. But I think maybe he may need a couple more fights. I know he was after his fight, he was back and forth with Hitchinson. They were going back and forth. You know, they fight in the same division. So who knows if maybe they get matched up in the future. Richard Hitchinson's, they would join back at each other. I like Tiger. He's a good boxer. I like him to see him sit down more on his punches and maybe, you know, get more knockouts and, you know, hurt people more. But he's an excellent boxer. He looked good
against
a guy that was
fan favorite too. And
yeah.
If you're a fan favorite in this sport, you know that, Tom. You're a fan favorite. You're going to go places because they make money for the promoters.
Absolutely.
And so they love him. All right. So Top Rank had a very good card of boxing on Saturday. And they're going to do that again next June. And they're busy with ESPN. And coming up next for them is Shakur Stevenson at the Prudential Center next month on ESPN. And Teofimo Lopez as well down in Florida as he continues to try the takeover at 140. Briefly, your take on those two, Teofimo and, of course, Shakur Stevenson with 2 big fights coming up at Top Rank.
Well, I like Shakur. I think the question with Shakur is he going to re-sign with Top Rank? I think this is his last fight under the contract.
It is,
Top
yes.
Rank. That's the big question. He's fighting a guy that's pretty good. I believe this guy is Armenian. He represented Germany in the Olympics or in the World Games or something like that. He gave Frank Martin a tough fight last year. I believe it was in July. I think they fought.
Yes, it was last July.
Some people thought he won that fight. I personally thought Frank Martin won the fight, but it was very close. I think he got dropped in that fight as well, but he was very game. I think he's going to give Shakur some problems, but I expect Shakur to do his thing and show out in front of his home crowd.
All right, big fight Saturday in Vegas, MGM Arena on Amazon Prime again. And, we're talking about Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. And, of course, Frank Martin comes in feeling very confident he's going to win this fight. Gervonta trash-talking him yesterday at the weigh-in. Will continue tomorrow. Big fight for Gervonta. Because he wins this fight, he could be headed to Shakur Stevenson. They've been talking a lot about it.
Absolutely. The thing is, well, right now they're both at 135. I wonder what happens. It's interesting to see. But let me tell you something. Frank Martin is not going to be any pushover for
No.
I think this is going to be a tough fight.
A very tough fight.
I'm picking Tank Davis to win, but don't be surprised if Frank pulls off the upset this week.
I agree, Tom, and he'll give a better play of it, better showing against Gervonta than Ryan Garcia did. I see that definitely. He's going to give him a better fight. Should be a good one. And what about David Benavidez, 175, his debut? He's looking forward to this because he's away from Canelo Alvarez now. Does David Benavidez make his move after this? Everyone expecting him to win. And then get his eyes on Dimitri Bivol? Or does he still, in your opinion, want Canelo Alvarez?
I think he's just looking for the best possible fight he could get. But I think Canelo's the guy he wants. And I think that's the guy he deserves to get. It's just Canelo doesn't want to face him for whatever
and
reason.
You know why he doesn't want to face him. He knows he's going to lose to him. Benitez is the best puncher at 168, maybe at 175, not, but at 168 he is. But so you going with Gervonta Saturday, and what about Mateus in Puerto Rico? Defends his title.
Mateus is in a tough fight against Liam Paro from Australia. That's not a pushover.
He's a counter puncher. That guy he's a counter puncher, and he could outpunch Mateus.
He could. It's whether or not he can take the punches from Mateus is really the question. But I tell you what, this is in Puerto Rico. This is a homecoming for Mateus.
Yeah.
The last couple of times that Eddie Hearn has tried to make these, these homecoming fights, they have not looked that impressive. The Regis Progress, he had a homecoming, he won, but some people said he lost.
Got one coming up with one coming up with Boots Ennis next month in Philadelphia.
And then Boots Ennis is going to have a homecoming in Philly, absolutely. And then they just announced his opponent as well. He's going to fight David Abanesian.
Right. Oh God, you're better, Thomas. You're better. I got to say one thing: you're better at pronouncing names than I am.
I try. Some names are harder than others, but I try, or at least I make it sound like it's right.
Tommy D, who has a show also on YouTube, boxing and all sports as well, knows his stuff. And is going to be collaborating with us here more often on Keep It in the Ring. And he's become a good friend and colleague in this business to me. One of the new guys, the future of this business. Where do they reach you again, Tom? Your social media, and how do they watch you?
You can catch me on TD Sports Talk on YouTube. Just, follow me on Twitter. Not Twitter. Well, Twitter as well. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Tom Dillamuth. It's Tom and my last name, Dillemuth. And even if you put that in the search engine on YouTube, it should take you to my channel.
And they're gonna watch you when this week live tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night we'll go live. We're supposed to have a couple special guests. Trying to work that out with your guy Socrates Palmer. So it should be a good one tomorrow night.
The toughest part of doing a program like this is getting a guest.
Yes,
lining them up, so difficult. Years ago, the producers did it for you on the networks, and I know that because I've done it. But here in social media, in this world, forget about it. Real hard. One thing that I do know is, stuff. I call you Tommy D from now on. All right.
Yeah, that's fine. Tommy D. Thomas, that's fine.
And we'll be more in touch. This was great. Thanks for being here, taking your time. Congratulations again on your family and your son and your daughter and the graduation, and best of luck to them, to everyone. And as always, keep it in the ring, my friend.
Thank you, Rich. I really appreciate the opportunity you're giving me. Thank you very much.
You'll be on again. You're collaborating with us. Right. Tommy D. I call him Tommy D. His real name, though, is Thomas
Dillamuth.
All right.
It's German. From the German part of Puerto Rico.
Oh, really?
No,
German. He's a German Puerto Rican, I think. But great content. I thank him as always. I thank him. He'll be on again. All right, Keep It in the Ring will continue. We're going to come back. We're taking one more final break. Come back real quick, and it's pro wrestling talk time. A lot of that. And I got someone who'll join us on the program weekly to give his thoughts. Stay with us. I'm Rich Mancuso. Back in a moment.
And always stoking the fire. Adrenaline is overloading. Hit the mat like a fighter. They never let up, never throwing, giving to their desires. No, they keep working on their focus. Always stoking the fire. Adrenaline is overloading. Hit the mat like a fighter. They never let up, never throwing, giving to their desires. No, they keep working on their focus.
Scott, are you there, Scott? Because I forgot one thing to do with Tom. Is Thomas still there? Is he still watching us, Scott? Because if he's there,
he just popped out.
I forgot to do the fact of the week with him.
All right. If he pops back in, I can do it real quick. I've still got that loaded up.
All right.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Thomas.
Yeah,
Thomas,
I was just writing in the chat. Yeah.
See, Thomas, you talk so much. I forgot to do this fact of the week with you.
Okay.
Every guest of mine has to go through the fact of the week. You're no different. You ready for it?
Okay.
All right. Here we go. We talked about Miguel Cotto, 4th division champion for Puerto Rico. Said his opponent had fast hands. He was so fast I couldn't see his punches coming. Who is that opponent? This is fact, not trivia. Who was that he's talking about?
Miguel Cotto's opponent?
Yeah. Miguel Cotto said his opponent here had fast hands. He was so fast I couldn't see his punches coming. Who was the opponent he was referring to?
Wow, I'll take a stab at it. Zab Judah?
No, Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao. Okay.
Pacquiao versus Cotto, 1995, off the charts punch counts in that fight, if you remember it.
Yeah.
So that was the fact of the week. I'm sorry I didn't get it with you before, but you got it now. That's right. You didn't get it anyway.
Yeah, I flunked it.
All right, Tom. Thank you. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. Keep it in the ring. Fact of the week, all the time. We'll have a sponsor for that as well. Let's bring in the pro wrestling talk right now and keep it in the ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. Thanks for being with us. Here he is. Hey, Dave, thanks for hanging in there. I hope you've enjoyed the program so far.
Yes, I have, and thank you for having me.
What?
I was about to say, do I have to do an intro or anything like that?
Well, tell us where you're going to be here with us on the network.
Yeah.
Joining us every week, few minutes, talk pro wrestling. I can't do it myself. And where do people find your insights? How do they find you? Because you're a wealth of knowledge of pro wrestling.
Well, y'all can find me on Jabronis United. It's another channel on the YouTube. Yeah, it's me, Ryan, and Caden, and Kyle.
A whole bunch of you.
Yeah.
Tag team. Okay. Let's keep it in the ring now. Let's go to the pro wrestling talk real brief. Let's look at AEW at first. I like to lead off with that. Forbidden Doors coming up the end of the month in New York City at the UEBS Arena. And Swerve and Ospreay. And what do you make of that?
It's an interesting dynamic because these are best of friends, but bitter of rivals. So this will be an interesting match. They go way back from New Japan, other wrestling organizations. They have a history.
Yeah, they do. But neither of you know Swerve is not going to drop the title that fast.
Oh, nah, it's too early.
He's great. I'm so proud of him, and I'm so glad we have met years back, and I'm so happy that he is holding the title for AEW. There's a Forbidden Door is going to shape up to be another one of their many pay-per-views, and you know what I like? What's going on in AEW? As much as people don't like it, I like it. I like Chris Jericho, his new gimmick again. Okay. And I also like the fact that Samoa Joe is now with Hook.
That's a good team. I like that too. As far as Jericho is concerned, I'm like, how many gimmicks can we have for Jericho? It's like too many gimmicks. Like,
give the old man a break, you know?
Like, I say Jericho take a break or pass the torch.
Yeah, well, he's not going nowhere. He says he's going to continue. He's banged up still, and one guy not banged up no more. I'm so glad he's back. I want him on this program. You know who I'm talking to. Eventually, he'll get his championship back. I love his new look. He hasn't changed much at all. MJF.
Yes. Even though me and MJF has some past issues, I have to say.
Oh, that's one guy, Dave, that you don't have past issues with.
I'm sorry.
Move on.
I will move on, but I don't forget.
Okay, we'll talk about that some other time, but
yeah.
I'm a big MJF fan. I want you to know that first and foremost.
No problem.
Okay? Who's he going to rival now with? It seems like Rush, right?
And I don't think Rush. I think he's going to rival with the whole Undisputed organization because of Baby Adam Cole.
And when will there be closure with the Elite and their takeover?
That's a good question because you could continue prolong this in a way where it could be like a dynamic of certain wrestlers going after the whole elite aspect, because it's hard to say, because it's like something that you will see something off of WWE, and then you
I don't like it. I don't like this from the beginning.
I
don't like it from the beginning.
I'm not saying it's a good thing, but also it's like you're trying to be. It's intriguing, but
I see that. Yeah, you have a following, and I know they're going to come watch you on this program every week too, Dave. All right, let's go to WWE Clash at the Castle Saturday, PLE event on Peacock. This guy, Drew McIntyre. I don't know where he's coming from. I don't know what's going to happen here against Damian Priest, because I don't know where Damian Priest stands. I don't know if he's a good guy, bad guy, eventually breaking away from the Judgment Day, but does Drew McIntyre finally get this title he wants?
My opinion, and I discussed this before, only way Drew McIntyre is going to get that title back is by ending his rivalry, ending the feud with CM Punk.
Yeah, well, Punk's not ready to get back in there, so that's going to take some time. Maybe by SummerSlam, maybe.
Yeah, but I don't think Drew, and I could be wrong, I don't think Drew is going to win this title.
Well, here's a good point by Thomas. He follows the wrestling too. He says that CM Punk could cost him the match. I could see that very well happening. Yeah. That could happen. You know, will there be surprises at Clash at the Castle before we move on to the main event with Cody and Styles? Do you expect any surprises? Will Uncle Howdy finally show up, or are they waiting for Monday Night Raw for that?
That's what I think is going to happen. Like, I think there's going to be an interference in this match, but in a way where either A, is going to be a no contest, or B, of course, you know, Damian Priest retains. I don't think Drew McIntyre is going to win this belt back.
No,
and if he does,
his continuing attempt and his storyline will continue. I'm getting robbed out of what I deserve.
Yeah,
crybaby, very talented crybaby baby he is. How about Cody and Styles? I don't know why they're rebooking this. I guess they had no opponent for Cody Rhodes, but AJ Styles again.
Interesting match. I really think Cody's going to win this. Hands down. It is going to be one of the toughest matches. It's going to be close, but I really think Cody got this.
Back to McIntyre again, Dave. I forgot to mention. It's in Scotland. It's there where he's from.
Yeah.
They're all going to be for him. So that could play an impact if they give him the title because he's home.
But I don't think so. Remember, Bret Hart versus... I forgot that match, but it was in his hometown. Oh, Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, yeah. The screw job in Montreal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This could be another screw job, but not with the powers that be. I really think that's when Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul, his beauty, which is Uncle Howdy and his team, come and basically wreak havoc. Or for those who are TNA fans.
Yeah, you know, they're looking at WWE working with TNA.
Yeah.
TNA, and I wonder, and we're going to watch this develop in the months to come. There's a lot of rumors that Triple H and Tony Khan might work together.
There's rumors, but
there's rumors.
For those who assume about interference again, I'm going to basically bring up Joe Hendrick for all you Scottish people.
Okay.
Interference and probably interfere.
All right, Dave, and before I let you go, by the way, you're marvelous. You're enlightening more of what I want to know, and I follow it. I was in the business for a while long time, but no more. But I'm still a big fan of this, and I know I have some still insiders. Rey Mysterio, the kiss heard around the world continues. Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan, who I can't stand, and now she's causing a fuss. Where is this headed?
You can't stand Liv Morgan?
I can't stand her.
That's Jersey based, baby. That's
When Chucky knifed her to death on the set last year of Chucky, my favorite, I was hoping that'd be the end of her, but apparently not.
No, Liv is.
I can't stand her. I hate her whole gimmick. I can't stand her.
Liv is like that Harley Quinn. She's Harley Quinn. She's that wifey material. But I see this going until Rhea Ripley's come back.
Yeah, they're gonna fight for Dominic.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's where they're headed. That has to be the fight for Dominic.
Kyle, I'm gonna jump in. Kyle, am I really still in your cup? Your thunder, your talking point. But
well,
nah,
Dave, thanks for hanging with us. Running out of time.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, go. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna show this guy.
Who is it?
That is Swerve. Isaiah Swerve Scott.
There you go. There you go. And you know what? I'll start showing some of my memorabilia and stuff starting next week. I got a lot of it here.
And Kyle, kind of, sort of, yeah. Yeah.
Dave, thanks again. Once again, where do fans see your great insight on the network?
No, but thanks to my team as well. I can't take all the credit.
Well, all of you.
Yeah.
All of you know your pro wrestling, and I appreciate it. You'll be on again next week. Enjoy Clash at the Castle, okay?
Definitely.
It's like 2 p.m. Eastern time, I believe, with a 2-hour pre-show before. So enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Be in touch next week. Keep it in the ring, my friend.
Yes.
That's Dave with the Wrestling Insights on Keep It in the Ring on the program. And really, really interesting, entertaining as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Great insights and more. We're going to get ready to wrap it up. Before we do, I want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day. I know how much important Dad means to you. My dad has gone over 31 years now, so I know how it is, but I'm a dad myself, so I understand it. So happy Father's Day to all of you out there. I want to make sure I got that in. Nostalgia time that I do on the program each and every week here on the program. And I like to go back in the past because boxing's had so much history. Let's first take a look at this week. I got 3 of them this week. Go to June 6, 1988, and that's the Hall of Famers. Iran Barkley stopped Thomas Hearns. Round 3, WBC middleweight title in Las Vegas. I covered that fight years ago. Hearns was a 4-1 favorite, his first defeat of his title defense. Barkley with the right cross. Hearns went on his back. 2 great Hall of Famers right there, including Thomas Hitman Hearns. That was an era in boxing in the 1980s where you saw one great epic fight after another. Great fighters in that division and many more. Hearns Barkley just happened, the celebration of that great fight in 1988 of June 6th. June 7th, 2000. Recently, 24 years ago, we had the final in the trilogy of Gotti Ward. Talked about that earlier in the program. The finale, Atlantic City, New Jersey, Boardwalk Hall. Gotti beats Ward 145-pound non-title bout. Gotti knocked down in the 6th round. Fight of the year, considered by many. Of course, their trilogy remains a great part and will always be of boxing history. And then June 9th, 1978, Hall of Famer, heavyweights here. We talked at heavyweights, start of the program. Larry Holmes defeated Ken Norton via split decision, the WBC heavyweight title in Las Vegas. Back then, when we didn't have alphabet soup titles, there was only really one that was recognized, that being the WBC World Boxing Council. Larry Holmes defeats Kenny Norton, split decision in Las Vegas. Norton's first title defense, and Holmes edged Norton and what was then 15-round championship fights, not 12, something I still do believe boxing should reinstate again. Those championship rounds many times can go past 12. If they go 15, you could have a decisive winner instead of the controversial one. So there you go. Look back in boxing history, 3 good ones that happened, especially in the heavyweight division when boxing the way it was, 15 rounds. Congratulations also to the Hall of Fame inductees this past weekend up in Canastota, New York. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend it, but to Yvonne Calderon, a great featherweight, bantamweight champion out of Puerto Rico, one of those great Puerto Rican champion icon fighters. He's in the newest inductee, and so are 2 of my great colleagues, longtime boxing writer and TV analyst with boxing, Wallace Matthews, and the great boxing publicist Fred Sternberg has been doing this for the longest of times. 2 of the non-fighter inductees into the newest members of the Boxing Hall of Fame this past week up in Canastota, among many others. Even the late Diego Corrales, my late friend and champion, inducted this past weekend. Congratulations to all. The question is, not that I'm advocating it, but what do you think? When will Rich Mancuso, with 43 years of this experience in the boxing world, be considered a Hall of Fame candidate to be inducted? Not that I'm pushing for it. It would be nice, but who knows? Okay? Don't get the wrong idea, my friends. Well, great hour and more. We had the boxing. Thanks to Thomas D again. Thanks to Dave with the wrestling. Thanks to Scott Churchton for putting up with me and putting this all together this week on Jabroni's Network and United, and Keep It in the Ring also live on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, and Facebook. I want you to like, comment, and subscribe, please, my friends, because we'll be back again next week with the latest information, the latest analysts. Hope you enjoyed this as much as I did this week and every week in the weeks to come. We have a lot planned with world champions, former and past, coming on the program. That's why we're here. We are doing it for you, and I hope you enjoyed the last hour or more or so. Next week, like I said, stay with us on social media to see when we'll be on live or whatever, either Wednesday or Thursday. We'll figure it out. X, formerly Twitter, Ring786, where you get me. Find out on there, or Rich Mancuso on the network, Jabroni's United, or just email Scott Churchton or get in touch with my great producer, who's a marvelous guy and knows what he's doing. We'll be back with you next week. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, stay well, be safe, God bless. Happy Father's Day again. And as I always say before I leave, keep it in the ring. Till next week, I'm Rich Mancuso. Thank you.